Well, to understand Thomas Hobbes' political thought is necessary to think of the context, the political and the social context where Hobbes lived. We have the context of the England Civil War. Hobbes had a difficult childhood with religion, and during the Enlightenment century, 17th century, Hobbes starts breaking with the ancient thought from Aristotle and ancient philosophers about a natural order. So during this civil war, Thomas Hobbes takes the side of the king and starts thinking on how to earn or to rethink how imperative and mandatory is to obey the king's law and the royal power. So he starts thinking different than Aristotle. Hobbes is a realistic and materialistic thinker. So he goes against the idea of a natural order. He goes against Aristotle. There is a thought, a way of thought, a system of thought since Aristotle to actual monarchy, and it's to think that there is a natural order. So the ideas came from Aristotle to Stoicism. It was retaken by Christianism and the Middle Age, and it was the source of the power of the king. So, of course, it gives authority to the actual monarchy. So Hobbes goes against this system of thought, and in two particular aspects. The first one is the human condition or the human nature to live in a society. He goes against Aristotle's Zoon Politikon, where every human being is destined to be and to live in a society, and the state is natural. It's been there forever, and it's a natural order. Hobbes goes against this idea, and he says that human beings, they are not meant to live in a society. They initially live in a state of anarchy and a state of disorder, and there is nothing but self-interest, and that's the only thing that moves and motivates human beings during this state of nature. So in order to go out of this state of nature and out of this anarchy, Hobbes says that humans are forced, or by a convention, they create a Leviathan, a sovereign, almighty power, which equals the royal power, to protect them and to overcome this struggle to get to supply the actual human needs. So that's the first thing that Hobbes goes against. The second thing is the fact that, unlike Aristotle, there is no a final state of mind. There is no an end or something that will actually satisfy human being, because we're guided by desires, by continuous desires, and we are accomplishing those desires on a regular basis. And there is no virtue, there is no good living, there is no usage of reason to reach these objectives, because there is no major objective. We are constantly living to satisfy our desires, and we do it within the reign of the royal power of this Leviathan. So that's the second thing that Hobbes criticized from Aristotle's way of thinking. So this means that he breaks the tradition, the classic thought, and he starts thinking that about the concept of freedom and justice. So freedom is negative. The only way to be free is by living under the sovereign king invested by the humans with unlimited authority. And that's why we must obey this invested power, which is almighty and which is the one that guarantees peace between humans. So also, justice is not an abstract concept, is not a concept that you think of. It's not an idea. Justice is just obey the orders, is just obeying the law. That's justice. There is no more concept of justice. It is not something abstract. It is what it is. As well as freedom. Freedom is not something that each is not, it's more individual. You have the freedom to choose whether to do something or not to do it. There is no restriction or coercion in your individual acting. And there is no people or nation, even though it's too soon to speak of nation, but there is no right from the human being to depose or to withdraw the king. It is impossible because there is an initial commitment of obedience, which is justice, and there is and they are the only ones that guarantee that freedom to do something that we are physically able to do. That is freedom for Hobbes. So it's negative because unlike positive freedom, which is an initial state of nature in Aristotle and some other thinkers, freedom, it's only guaranteed by the royal power. That's freedom, for you to be able to do what you're physically able to do without any limit on doing so. No other limit than the royal power, which is almighty. So that's the difference, and that's where he broke with the tradition that came from Aristotle and changes the way of thought from now on. And we could say that somehow is the base for an early capitalism in the thing of when it comes to the competition and how we're competitive by nature and how we're only looking for a constant well-being through property, through wealth, possessions, and self-satisfaction. So we could say that it is the beginning of